Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC. I'm Tim and in this episode we are going to be taking a look at this piece of jewellery, which is the FrSky X20 Pro tandem transmitter. First quick thing I want to say is I'm planning on putting this video out on Boxing Day, so just a quick one to say for those of us who celebrate Christmas, I hope you've had a fantastic Christmas. Massive thanks to all of your support this year in 2023, particularly all those people that have subscribed. It's really great to have you on board and have you a member of the channel. If you haven't subscribed, it doesn't cost you anything. Just click that subscribe button and then you'll get to follow along with all of my videos on basically radio controlled fixed wing balsa, nitro, electric and a little bit of FPV thrown in, and then we do the odd little technology review like this as well. So a few weeks ago I put a video out saying that I was swapping my Radio Master TX16S for this, and the Radio Master's been a fantastic radio, but I thought I'd put a video out explaining why I decided to swap it out. And that video, I think it's my most successful video in terms of the amount of views it got so quickly. So it's obviously very popular. There was lots of feedback on there. Some people agreed with what I was saying, some people saying I was making no sense, but you know, at the end of the day it's kind of personal preference and everyone's got their own views, so that's absolutely fine. But one thing I will say is that this just feels absolutely fantastic. It does feel like a real quality piece of kit. It's not a cheap radio, but you can certainly see why when you get it out of the box. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So we're going to get it out of the box, we're going to see what we get in the box. This is the limited edition version, so it's got a few little extras in the box, so we'll have a look at those, and then we'll have a quick look through the radio and a quick look at ethos as well. So without further ado, let's get this on the bench and let's get it unboxed. Okay, so as I mentioned at the intro there, I did do another video which I can put a link to actually in the top right, of why I've decided to move to this. So just to, I'm not going to go over obviously all that, but basically I've had the Radio Master TX16S for quite a few years now, and that's been a fantastic radio. I cannot fault it. But I just decided I wanted, well, let's be honest, I wanted something new and shiny as part of it. But I also like the idea with this this tandem radio that it has the dual frequency and all that sort of stuff. My Radio Master is quite an old one, so it's got the 4-in-1 module. It doesn't have ELRS, and I know there's some redundancy stuff coming out now of ELRS, should I say. But I'd have to get a module and all that sort of stuff. So I thought I would go for this, and the intention is I'm going to be investing in some more expensive models next year, 2024. So I want to make sure that, you know, I've got the best reliability as I can get. And you know, that said, I haven't had any issues in terms of dropouts or anything like that with the Radio Master, but I just like the fact that with these you can have a dual setup. So when I say dual setup, I mean it does both frequencies. It does 900 meg and the 2.4 gig frequency, and the receivers actually support both of those on the same receiver, so it's pretty cool. I come from an IT background, so I actually own an IT company, and redundancy is something that we talk about on a daily basis in IT, so that's why this having redundancy built in ticks a lot of boxes for me. So let's have a look what we get. So this is the box, fairly boring, just a brown box, but inside here I'm going to have to mess around with the camera angles a bit, I think, in this video. Let me just tilt my monitor around so I can see what you're seeing. You do get this nice metal carry case. Now the only downside to this is that currently my TX16 fits, I still use the little polystyrene foam case it sort of comes in, that goes perfectly in my backpack, which I could take to the flying field. This is going to be a bit of a beast to carry down, but at least it is a separate thing you can carry, and it's obviously got a handle and all that sort of stuff. Now this is the limited edition one as well. I can't remember what the actual name, like the pack's called. In fact, let me just have a quick look on my phone, see if I can see. Okay, just checked. I might be wrong, but I think this is called the combo pack. And as far as I'm aware, I think there's a limited run of these, and they're not making too many of them. So we'll get into having a look what that is. Also, one thing I didn't mention just now that I wanted to mention was that although I am selling my Radiomaster TX16S, I also have a Radiomaster Zorro, which some of you will have seen if you follow along the channel. I'm also going to sell that, and I'm going to have this, and I'm going to buy a Radiomaster Boxer Max, which is going to be the radio I'm going to use going forward for things like my drones and little wings and FPV and all that sort of stuff, because this is a bit, big and a bit over the top really for flying things like a drone and stuff like that. So I still want to stay in the Radiomaster ecosystem, and I'm going to be doing it with the Boxer. Although I've just seen, whilst looking for what this pack was called, that I think FrSky have just brought out a radio that looks very similar to the Boxer, but pretty sure I'll go with the Boxer. Anyway, that's for another video. So let's have a look, see what we get. So it does come in this very nice case. Let's see if we can get you in here for a bit of a better look. Okay, hopefully you can see that nice and easily there. So obviously main thing we get is the radio. We'll have a look at that in more detail in a second. And in this combo limited edition pack, you get this, and who wouldn't want this? It's a paperweight FrSky X20 Tandem. And I think if we tighten this up, oh yes, look at that. Can you see that on the camera? It lights up. I mean, surely that's worth the money. Anyway, just to get that. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that, but probably sit on my bench. It's a good weight, so maybe if I'm gluing something down, I might use that as a bit of a weight. So yeah, you get that in the case, no less. It's heavy enough as it is, but we've got space for that. You get a nice strap, and then you get some other things in here. So what's this? So you get USB-C leads, fairly standard. To be honest, I am not in. Oh yeah, stupid me. That's the keys to lock the case. I was like thinking, why do I need keys to start the radio? It looks like you get some extra external antennas, which I didn't actually. Oh yeah, there's two covers here, antenna 1 and antenna 2. So you can put those on if you want to, but you don't need to. It's got built-in antennas. There is, and this is why this combo pack is worth getting, you get a tandem R18 receiver. So this is an 18 channel receiver, and this is a really nice thing, and this is what I really like that FrSky are starting to do now. And they're starting to compete, or trying to compete, with some of the real premium radios like the Jetties and Powerbox and things like that. And I know it's not in the same league as those, so I'm not suggesting it is, but you can see exactly what they're trying to do. So this is obviously it's an 18 channel on their new tandem system, so this receiver will support both the 900 meg and 2.4 gig standard. So you can see that will be the 900 meg aerial, and that's your 2.4 ones. And you can also see it's got a dual power input, so if one of your power systems fails, then the other one will take over and all that sort of stuff. So really nice, a lot of redundancy built into this, obviously the 2 frequencies as well. So that's a nice thing to having included there. I just need to decide on a nice fancy model. In fact, I've got something lined up that I think I'm going to be using this for. So yeah, that you get that. They do still make the redundancy bus systems as well, and they've bought some new ones out of those. So that's where you can actually connect 2 power sources and 2 receivers into the redundancy bus, like a power box type thing, which gives you obviously lots more redundancy. Some extra cables, and probably that'll be for mounting the there's some little screws in there, so you can mount this receiver. You can just see it's got some lugs on it there, so you can actually mount that inside the model. What else we got here? I think that is a switch of some sort. Yeah, so I just checked, that is actually a switch. I thought it was, because obviously if the battery's plugged into it all the time, then it's going to have power, so you can obviously add some sort of switch for that. Then we've got, what we got in here? I think this is, yeah, so you get a battery powered screwdriver, which is a nice thing. Probably will make use of that, to be fair. This is again only available in the combo pack, and I think in the top of this, yeah, you've got some various different screws and things in there, so yeah, that's worth having. And it keeps on going on. It's literally like Christmas. This is another accessory pack. Let's have a look what we've got in here. We've got another USB cable, another USB-C cable. Oh, okay, so this is for the driver, and some more bits there. These are quite nice actually, because they're sort of longer bits. So, a bit gimmicky, but that's actually going to be quite. I'll actually use that, so that's quite useful. And I'll probably keep that out of the box again. It's just more weight in the box, which you just don't need. And I'll get that charged up. We then have so instruction manual for the TDR18, QR codes on the back there, and then you get this fancy thing which basically says that this FrSky radio, which you can't see because it's not going to zoom in, is handcrafted, and someone's signed it there. Shen someone, by the looks of things, senior project production tech engineer. More QR codes, tells you when it was made. So this was made on the 12th of October 2023, and that's your warranty certificate as well. So apparently these radios are milled from a single piece of aluminium, and I did see a video a little while back saying that they could only make a few of these each day, so they're not pushing loads of them out of the factory at the moment. Some more information there, more instructions. We've got some stickers, of course, very nice. And what's the last thing we've got in here is, oh, just the instruction manual for the screwdriver. So there we are. So that is what you get with the combo pack. I didn't buy this because I wanted all that stuff, by the way, but this is the only one that the shop that I bought it from in the UK, which was Hobby RC, this is the only one that they were offering. Well, actually, I thought I'd just ordered the standard one, because I'm pretty sure I paid the same standard price, because this one was slightly more money, I think. But I ended up getting this sent to me, so not going to complain about that. So I'll get all these bits put away, and then let's have a look at the actual radio. Okay, let's have a look at this thing then. So, as I said, milled from a single piece of aluminium, apparently the case is. And then it's got this carbon fibre front plate here. Looks absolutely superb. Really like sort of the colours of it and the look of it. And it feels incredible. Just feels really solid. It's really nice to hold. Fits in the hand well. Some people have said the X20 is a bit big for them and they prefer the X18, but for me this feels absolutely fine. And one thing I was quite surprised about was I was expecting it to be really heavy. It does feel heavy enough to make it feel a real quality piece of kit, but it doesn't feel too heavy at all. So I don't tend to fly with a neck strap, but this will be absolutely fine for me, just holding it normally. So it's got full Hall sensor, gimbals with ball bearings, and they're milled from aluminium, so very similar to the Radio Master AGO1 gimbals. I'd actually say, and I think I mentioned this on the other video as well, that they don't feel quite as nice, I don't think, as the AGO1 gimbals, which I've got on my TX16. I think it's probably because they're not quite as damped as they are in that. I do have a bit of the oil, the damping oil that you get with the AJ01 gimbals, but I'm not going to take this to bits to try it. But yeah, I think that's perhaps what it needs. But they do feel very, very nice, don't get me wrong. But that was something that I was just a little bit, I guess, disappointed in. But in terms of all the switch gear on it, feels very, very good quality. So you've got synced 2-position switch there, 3-position switch here on the shoulders, a momentary switch on the right hand one, and then again these are all 3-position switches on the front. Actually, yeah, that's 3-position as well. So fairly standard stuff there. And then you've got these really nice rotary switches on the side, and everyone always seems to complain about the centre dent. Well, these ones have got a real positive one, so there's no problem there. They remind me of my old FrSky X9. Was it X9? Taranis. It is X9, isn't it? I think a Taranis radio that I had a few years back. So yeah, they're really nice. And then you've also got some pots on the middle, and these feel like these are really quite hard to move, but they just feel really nice. And there's a good centre detent there. Nice big chunky trim switches, good positive click on those. They're metal as well, so that all feels really nice. On the back, so we've got the handle built in. There's a couple more switches there, so there's a 2-position switch there, and that one's the same as well. And then these two on the back, which you don't necessarily notice, these are momentary switches on the back. And I might be wrong, but I don't think these are on the standard version. They only come on this Pro version. It's either these two or these two that don't come on the standard version. And now we've got the battery bay there. The battery's included, so that's a 4000 milliamp LiPo. Looks like a 2S, so that's included as well, which is good. And then one of the things that really appeals to me about this as well is just the layout of it. So the fact you've got the screen up here rather than down here. So that's on the TX16, it's down here, and this is much easier to look at whilst you're flying. Just quickly glance down at that screen. Let's get it switched on so we can have a look.
Welcome to Ethos. Throttle not idle. Failsafe not set. Switch warning.
So I've not actually got anything programmed into this yet, but so it's giving me all sorts of warnings when I switch it on. But really nice, clear screen. Don't know how it's going to be in the sunlight yet. I've not actually taken it outside to have a look at that. You can see there on the display that it's got the two. So it actually says on there 2.4 and 900. So you can see it's got the two radio outputs there. And then in terms of navigating around, you've got this rotary switch down here, so you can go all through the menus, and then there's a center button there to press to select. Sorry, that's off the screen. There's also 6-position switches here. So again, that's kind of like the TX16 radios and those sorts of style, where you've got the switches across here. You've got these here, and you can see they light up when you press them. No doubt you can program those to do different things. And then there's also this extra slider switch here in the middle. That's metal as well, so that feels nice. And then here, this will take you into the menu, or it is a touchscreen as well. So if you don't want to use that, you can press the screen and go into like the model menu there, system menu and all that. So that's the same as pressing this here. So once you're in here, again, you can navigate around using this rotary wheel, or you can just click, because it's a touch sensitive screen. And I've got to say, I've not used touch sensitive screen on a radio before, but having had a bit of a play around with this, it seems very good, and you know, you don't have to keep pressing it and all that sort of stuff. Very responsive and very accurate as well. I'm not going to go through this in loads of detail, but we'll have a quick look. So it's similar, you know, Ethos is probably, I don't know for sure, so I'm just assuming here, but it's probably was OpenTX at some point that FrSky have developed and put their own skin on it and their own settings and things like that. It looks superb. I love the colours as well with the orange and black. You could probably change that, but I don't think I will. I just really like that. I think it looks good and suits the radio, especially with the radio being grey. So you've got a home, which again very much like OpenTX and all that sort of stuff. So you've got an image of your model, then you can customize these things, so you can have channel outputs here, a timer, which is, you know, this is my standard setup. I have had a play around with this already, so this is what I normally have on my Radio Master. Then you go into the model menu, so you've got model select, so this is where you choose all your models and you create a new model. You can edit your model, so usual stuff here, select the picture, give it a name, what type of model is it, how many ailerons does it have, all that sort of stuff. Sorry, when I say how many ailerons, I mean how many channels do the ailerons use. Obviously it's going to have 2 ailerons. What else have we got on here? What the function switches do, so that's going to be these ones down here, by default set to 6 position. So that's fairly standard stuff. And we've got flight modes. I'm probably not going to use that so much really. You've got mixer, and then outputs, and again, so this is you know, all very similar to OpenTX and EdgeTX. Your various outputs. So I'm guessing this is where you probably set things like rates and things like that, maybe, but there's probably a separate thing for rates. Timers, that's fairly self-explanatory. Trims, not had much of a play around with this, but here you can change the trim step. So by default it looks like it's set to fine, and you can probably set that to medium and coarse, etc. Yeah, you can, extra fine, medium, coarse. So again, same as EdgeTX. You can set the range of the trims, and actually that's quite nice. It looks like you can set each individual trim separately, so you can have one, maybe you could have your elevator on medium but the ailerons on fine, that sort of thing. So that's good, and you can change the percentage of the trim as well, which is useful. Then you've got RF systems, so internal module by default is on. Obviously it does have a external module bay as well. It's the micro one, I think. I can't exactly remember the correct term for that, but it's the smaller module bay, not the normal JR size. I don't really intend to use the module bay. I can't imagine that I'll ever use that. Because I'm getting the Boxer, the Radio Master Boxer, that one I'm going to get the ELRS version of that, and what I'm going to do is get a 4-in-1 module for that, for any of my models that haven't got ELRS receivers in them. So I will be using the module bay in that, but that is a standard JR sized one in that. In here we can change like the mode, so again by default it's set to tandem. Don't exactly know what all these do, but you've got TW mode, TD Pro, and then you've got the old, well not old, but you've got the, well that's old, the Access, ECCST D16 mode, and you've also got the Access protocol as well, which is the newer sort of FrSky one. So yeah, and this is where you've got your antennas, so you can say whether you're using the internal or the external. Fail-safe stuff in here as well, binding your receivers in here, all that sort of stuff. And if we just go to the next page, telemetry, we've got a checklist, so I think you can program a checklist before you fly the model, which I'm assuming you can, yeah, you can program various things in here, so you can, well, what can you do? Right, so I think this is probably when you first switch it on and it goes for all that stuff. You can customize that, so that's quite nice. Logical switches, same as edge and open. Special functions, so that's where I'm guessing you'll set your, you know, if you want to override the throttle with a switch, which I often do, I'm assuming I'll set that up in there. Curves, don't tend to use those myself too much, but again you can set curves for mixing and all that sort of stuff. Trainer mode, and then device config. So this basically, you've got SXR there and stuff like that. So these are essentially Lua scripts, and you've got the sort of stuff. The ones I tend to use are things like SXR calibration, variometers, and that sort of stuff. So that's all that sort of stuff. External devices, I guess, in there. So that's kind of the model side of things, and then you've just got the system. So that's fairly standard stuff. I won't go through all this really, but battery, managing the files, setting the date and time. Yeah, and just an info screen on that. So it's fairly straightforward. If you can use OpenTX or EdgeTX, then you'll definitely be able to use this, because this is meant to be simpler than EdgeTX and OpenTX. One thing I did just want to look at though was I couldn't see anything specifically on rates, but I imagine it is on this output screen here. So if I've just gone into the Aeron one here, you can invert it from here. So if it's going in the wrong direction, you can set the endpoints by the looks of things. You can set the speed. Okay, so it looks like rates is actually in this mixer menu here, so slightly different to say something like EdgeTX. But if you go onto like that Aeron one, you can then select that and you can edit it. And then if we have a look down here, you've got things there. Look, you can see the weight there. You can add a new rate, and I'm assuming you could probably assign that to a switch, maybe. Well, I'm sure we'll be able to figure that out when we get to it anyway. Well, you will be able to assign it to a switch, but yeah, you can do all the usual stuff in here. So you can set differential. Obviously, if you've got a curve set up, then you can use a custom curve that you would do in the other menu and select that in here. So I reckon I can probably get my head around this without looking at the instructions, but of course they're going to be available if I need them, and there's plenty of videos starting to appear now on YouTube on how to set these things up. I might do a few videos myself once I've got my head around it. I've done a couple on the Radio Master, and they've gone down really well. Actually got some good views on that, and it's good to be able to help people. So that is the FrSky X20 Pro. Bit of a quick video, a bit of a whistle-stop tour of it, but I don't think there's any need to go into too much detail at the moment. Like I say, I'll probably do some more in-depth sort of tutorial videos as I go along, and showing you setting up a new model and some programming and bits and bobs like that. Yeah, it's certainly a very nice thing. I'm really pleased with it, and I'm really looking forward to getting it set up on a model and taking it down the flying field and giving it a test. If you watch my channel, you'll know that I've got a fairly big PC6 Porter with a 20cc 4-stroke engine in it. That has got FrSky receivers in it, so that's going to be the first thing. I'm going to get that moved over to this radio, and that's probably going to be the first plane that I use on this radio. So I'll film that. So I'll take that down the field and let you know how I get on. So look out for that one. If you've got any comments or any questions you want to know about this, then let me know, and I'll always get back to you. This is going to be the last video that I put out on YouTube in 2023. I'm not going to get one done between now and New Year. So just want to say, like I said at the start, if you made it this far as well, hopefully you're a subscriber, probably, if you made it this far. If you're not a subscriber, then please help me out by subscribing. But I just want to say a massive thank you to all those people who do subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's great to have got over 1,000 subscribers this year. That was my first milestone with this channel. So that's good to have got that done. So thank you for all your support, and I wish everyone a very prosperous new year. I've got loads of projects that I want to get on with. I'm looking at buying another fairly large balsa plane, which I'm going to be putting a 30cc gas engine in. So yeah, loads of stuff planned, and I've still got all sorts of stuff in the loft that I want to try and get through. So loads of exciting plans for 2024. That's going to wrap this video up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for the next one.